Okay, Christina here to listen to some music. And today's music selection is Freak on a Leash by Korn. So I definitely have heard of this band before, but I never paid attention to them. Wikipedia says that they formed as a band in 1993, and that makes sense because that's around the end of the window of the popular music genre that I got into. So I really like a little bit late 80s, early 90s stuff. And anything after 94, 93, 94, I just didn't pay attention. I was just fully into my classical training at that point. So that's kind of why we're here with the channel, is to go back and catch these things that I missed. Am I going to like this? I don't know. Just because I like grunge music or late 80s pop music doesn't mean that I'm going to like everything, but I've got to give it a chance. And this is all thanks to all of you because this was the winner of a poll. There were lots of suggestions out there kind of in this style of music, and this song won by a lot. So here we are. I'm going to take a close listen to the band Korn. All right, don't forget to also do all the things, like and subscribe, coffee, direct requests, Patreon, behind the scenes, also direct requests there, early access, lots of fun stuff. Supports the channel. We have a great music community where we discuss music, and also we've got a live stream coming up and lots of fun projects in the works. It's just a really exciting time on the channel here, so glad to have you all along for this little adventure. Okay, so enough talking. Let's listen. Okay. Let's see what we're in for here.
Something takes a part of me, something lost and never seen. Every time I start to believe, something's raped and taken from me, from me. Life's gotta always be messing with me. Can't it chill and let me be free? Can't I take away all this pain? I try to every night, all in vain, in vain. Sometimes I cannot take this place. Sometimes it's my life I can't taste. Sometimes I cannot feel my face. You'll never see me fall from grace.
Okay. Wow. Lots of thoughts here. Okay. My first impression is that I like this. First impression. So many interesting sounds. So this isn't just like grunge, and it's not really just plain old metal. I'm not sure what you would call this. And I do really enjoy sort of categorizing different styles of music. It doesn't always have to fit into a box or into a category, but I don't know, my brain just enjoys doing that. Also, sometimes there are really creative names for these genres and subgenres, so that's kind of fun. So if you know what this is, put it in the comments. So I liked how it started out really simplistic and then it slowly built up. And what I heard from the beginning was this really cool bass line. It was very prominent. It was mainly built on a tritone, which is if you take a perfect fifth and a perfect fourth. So that's 5 steps up and then 4 steps up. It's sort of the one that's in between. So it's kind of like 4.5 steps up, except there's a little bit more to it, but it's also known as the devil's chord tritone. It sounds very ominous And so I'm not surprised, I guess, that if that's the feel that this band is going for, that they're going to have the bass line doing that. And then I heard some interesting drumming. So again, I'm a grunge girl. And so I heard bra-pa-pa, bra-pa-pa. There's something about that. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the Spin Doctors. And if you, bra-pa-pa-da-da-da. And if you know, if you know, you know. And then I heard all sorts of funny little warbly background noises, like really long sustained guitar tones and then like garbled underwater sounds, kind of electronic, like electronic. I'm also a really big fan of Björk. She is actually one of the artists that I continued to follow. I still haven't heard all of her albums, but I did really get into Björk like in the early 2000s around her Vespertine album. So good. So it's sort of like that, like interesting digital sort of sounds in the background with the sustained guitar. You would think it would be like a pedal tone, which is like a lower note that would be sustained, but it's way up high, like squealing in the background. Very, very cool. Okay. And then the vocals. So there was the lead singer, and I'm also catching on to his style. I really love trying to identify how all of these lead singers utilize little stylistic characteristics in how they pronounce things and what they do with the pitches, the beginnings and the ends of each of their phrases. And just in this first impression, first of all, I don't recognize this vocalist. So this is really not familiar to me at all. But there were a couple of things that he did in the singing here that did seem kind of familiar, almost reminiscent of James Hetfield from Metallica. Mainly because I heard the word me pronounced may. I can see how that can happen organically. Like if you're just really wailing away, singing a song and you're opening up your mouth, you're not going to be able to go me very much. It's going to may, you're going to open that up. So I totally get how you got there, but maybe there was a little bit of influence and nothing wrong with that. That's how music works, is we influence one another kind of through time. You sort of build it up and there's sort of this whole kingdom of styles that grows. Anyway, my composer's ear was just like taking it apart, and now we're going to put it back together. So I'm going to continue on. I'll back it up just a tiny bit to catch this little transition because it was really cool. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy some of the groove and the beats with it too. Whoa, okay, that was really an unexpected turn, but it was way cool. Whoa, okay. Well, I'm going to go back and catch some of that because I have to get into this because there's sort of an epic portion coming up here too. That was really cool. Okay, so first of all, I'm noticing tempo changes. So there are a couple of sections that when they start, it's a little bit faster. And then just almost immediately, subito, just suddenly, it's very laid back, a little bit slower. Maybe just like a 15 to 20 click difference in the metronome, but enough to sort of keep your attention and really, keep you tied to the song. Almost like On a Leash. Interesting. Okay, there were even more really cool sounds in the background. The vocals, the warbled kind of vocals. And then I noticed something in the drums, like the kick drum, bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum. It was rattly, almost like there was a pedal that was loose, or maybe the rim of the drum was loose, or maybe even that they had something sitting on top of the drum that would sort of rattle every time it was struck. Really cool effect. I don't know if it was intentional, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was creative. Definitely gave it sort of this treble, like an overtone kind of timbre over the drums. Okay, and then we got into the umdy-dumdy gotcha whatever section. Okay, I don't mean to laugh because it's really cool, all right? But it's like chanting, very tribal. I'm trying to think of how it would fit into, because I'm catching on to the point of this song also is maybe either a relationship or society. This person is feeling that they are a certain kind of person and that they are not really being allowed to be who they want to be. And so that they're just kind of tied to this stereotype or to societal norms. And could be wrong there, but that's what I'm gathering so far. So is this like a temper tantrum, like trying to like get out of this box that they're feeling like they're being kept in? Or are they like trying to make this tribal call to other people who are like-minded to them? Like, come be a part of my group. I want to be a part of your group. I want to get away from the things that I don't really want to be a part of. It was really confusing, but it was really fun. Very unexpected. I'm kind of that way with movies too. I love movies that take me by surprise. It's no fun when they're just too predictable. And so music, I love music that does the same. And this definitely is doing that. Okay, so I'm going to back it up and I'm going to hear the chanting part because it was awesome. And then it's getting into some of my favorite kind of grungy textural sound, like the big heavy guitar chords. I do really like that. It reminds me of a really solid brass section in an orchestra that's playing a perfectly tuned chord. When you're sitting on the stage with them, it just rumbles and it's perfect and it gives you goosebumps. Okay. All right, good ending. Some artists don't know how to end a song. I approve of the ending of this one. That felt well-rounded, and it came down to a close, but it didn't fade away. There's nothing wrong with a good fade out, but this, I just feel like it deserved more closure, and I feel like that was achieved. Okay. Wow. All right. So this tantrum tribal sort of part of the song, that was not just like a short outburst or a little transition. It was like a change in mood, and this singer just really got involved and upset, dedicated to making changes, and it changed the way he sang the whole rest of the song. So even when the chorus came back, that frustration was still implemented. And so there were some nonsense words in there, like just speaking through the depths of emotion. And they're just talking a million miles an hour, and just like they don't care what extra words get thrown out. They've just got to express themselves in that moment. So that is extreme creativity to work that frustration into his singing. The nonsense syllables mixed in with the chorus again. And then the grunge chords. So I heard that brass section, the perfect chords from the guitars that just rumble the floor. It was excellent. And I really think that that is sort of the foundation of this frustration in this song. As the ending of the song came about, we heard some interesting bass line things happening again. This time it wasn't the tritone, it was more like a ninth, which is like an octave plus one. And that's very similar to what I recently heard on Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. It's just a really great interval to use to create tension. And then funny little sounds. It sounded like someone taking a comb and going across the teeth of a comb. And it sort of went from one side of the headphones to the other. Also, in general, the lead singer, his voice is a little bit higher in range. With grunge music, there's usually some kind of a depth to the voice. I'm thinking of Eddie Vedder with Pearl Jam, where there's sort of a yer kind of a sound, whereas this is more like a yay kind of a sound. It's more straightforward. The throat is sort of more closed off, more of like a forced vocal fry, you know, the scratchy sound. And also just more air, more breath, you know. I don't know, is this reminiscent of chicka? Why is that coming out? Like all the the nonsense syllables and then the extra air pushed through to, make this frustration. So let's see. I just want to go back and just catch a couple of these things that I've spoken of here. Okay, so here we hear the tritone play in the bass. And sort of that high pedal tone. And then all the fun things, the warbly things in the background.
Something takes a part of me.
Ooh, and that boom, that bass sound. Very, very cool effects in the background. I love it. Okay, what else? Okay, and there's the rattle of the drum. You can really hear it. There's just this extra treble tone to the drumming. It's very, very cool. Almost like an echo, but not really. Okay, and so one more nod then to this chanting. And you hear that bass come back. Boom. Okay, and now we have like some of the weird intervals there, almost like a ninth, almost minor sevenths, major, Okay. So yeah, there's that brass section chord that I'm talking about. And I hope that's understandable what I mean by that brass section chord. It's just so perfect and it just vibrates everything that's around it. But with these grunge chords, it's going bum, 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 that chromatic stepwise upward motion. That also is more tension. So we've got the tritones and the ninths or the sevenths, and then these chromatic lines, just so much tension. All right. But then this little tantrum part, and tantrum not in a babyish way, you know, like just like you can't take it anymore. He's actually saying the word fight. I love it. I mean, if that's what comes out when you are in the middle of voicing something this desperately, then that is what's going to happen. So really interesting in how he channels that frustration into his words, the actual diction, the pronunciation of these words. I love it. Okay, so this was my first actual listen to Korn. And my final judgment for this reaction is that I like it. And again, it's just one little song for this band, so I don't know if I'm going to like everything that they do, but I like this song. So would I listen to this? Yes. Am I going to put it on my playlist? I am. So I'll be driving around and this will pop up on the shuffle. Absolutely. Well, this was really enjoyable and I'm actually kind of excited. That feeling like, hey, I might have a new band to get into. I love those moments. All right, well, we'll have to see where this little Korn journey takes us. And as always, just be okay and keep listening.